Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Films and Stuff. I am Ethan, joined, as always, by Pete. Hey, Pete.
Hi, Ethan. How's it going?
Everything is great today. As a reminder to listeners, this is our weekly stream or skip episode. It takes place as thus. I announce it, and then I turn the microphone over to Pete. Pete gives a 15-minute reminder of the rules of the game. So without further ado, Pete, take us through the rules.
Thank you. Will do. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows and movies we'd like each other to watch. Every week, we randomly assign one show from that list to each other. We watch at least 2 episodes or 30 minutes if it's a feature-length show. And based on that, we determine if that show or movie is worthy of being streamed or skipped.
That's right. That's right. What have I chosen for you? I don't remember.
I had to watch a show called This Fool on Hulu. This Fool is I don't want to call it a sitcom, but it's essentially a comedy.
Okay.
Based in Los Angeles. And it's centered on a Hispanic guy. I don't know if he's Mexican or if he's from some other part of Latin America. He lives in a relatively rough neighborhood, like lots of gangs, black gangs, Latin gangs, that sort of thing. And he works for a non-profit rehab center for what they call thugs, right? And the idea is that the center is called Hugs, Not Thugs.
Okay.
And it's a way to rehab gang members and, people who have been either just newly paroled or so forth to escape that life of criminality and become a part of society.
Okay.
It has the potential for being funny.
Yeah.
The show's name, This Fool, comes from the fact that Julio refers to everyone as fool, like, in slang, like, hey, fool, that kind of thing. And also because ultimately he's the one that also looks like a fool in front of everybody else, because everybody else is kind of like this hardcore thug gang member, right?
Yeah.
And he's the straight-laced, like, quote-unquote nerd. Think of Urkel. He's like the Latin version of Urkel.
Oh, really?
Straight-laced. His idea when he was the youth, right? Like he escapes a drive-by shooting because he was on rollerblades, and that's how he gets exercise. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Over the top.
A little bit like that. And so the idea is, at least in the first episode, his cousin, Luis, has been in jail for the last 8 years and has been released. They agree that he's going to become a part of, or he's going to join Hugs Not Thugs if he wants to continue staying at Julio's home, right? Because Julio still lives at home. And then, of course, at home, we see a lot of like the stereotypes that you would potentially see with a Latin family. It's not too dissimilar to what we saw with the Blue Beetle.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So like you have that abuela, like the grandmother who's like, oh, it's going to start raining, so put a tarp up on the roof because they haven't fixed the roof, that kind of thing, So, and then ultimately it's a show about Luis and Julio and how Julio is trying to rehab Luis, but Luis is also trying to make Julio a little bit, less nerdy, that kind of thing. I can maybe see the appeal of the show, but it is 110% not for me. The comedy I didn't find to be laugh out loud. It wasn't meant to be like a Friends-style comedy, which is meant to elicit laughter.
Yeah,
it's
set pieces.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a little bit like slightly darker humor, that kind of thing. It's not for me. I did some research. Apparently, Julio, the lead, is like a really famous stand-up comic in Los Angeles. And then the networks really liked him and they gave him a show. So this is kind of like written or based on him somehow. I'm sure there are people out there who are going to love it. but it's not for me the same way Blue Beetle was not for me. The things that they were kind of depicting as their sense of humor didn't land with me at all, and I didn't find it funny. It's a skip.
Well, we learned something there.
Yeah, tell me about football star Joe Pickett.
Football star Joe Pickett. Joe Pickett, I think it's because there's that quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers named Kenny Pickett that you and I keep associating this with American football player. But the name of the show is Joe Pickett. It is on Paramount Plus. It is a Western drama. So you could think of this as a softer, less violent, less wealthy Yellowstone. It follows a gentleman by the name of Joe Pickett. He is a fish and game warden in some rural area, which seems to be a Montana or Wyoming type place. And the star, Joe Pickett, is Gordo from For All Mankind. Yeah, Michael Dorman.
Oh,
it's Gordo. He's got a crazy mustache. Very, very, and he wears like kind of like this old cowboy hat. So it's a little bit like you don't recognize him right away. But yep, it's Michael Dorman from For All Mankind. Apparently, this is based on a book. Joe Pickett's based on a book. And he has all sorts of, adventures. He's, solving some murders. He's dealing with cattle that have hopped the fence. He's got a family. He's got all sorts of different like drama that's happening in this area. I would say overall, it's a very easy watch. There's really nothing in here that's intended to be kind of like a political issue or a wedge issue. It doesn't really take hard stands like that. All the characters are in their own way, endearing and well played. It also doesn't really have anything that's kind of amazing about it. Yellowstone, I think, was a little bit unique because it was just so different from everything on television, which is always based in New York. Yellowstone was one of the first shows that was really based outside in nature. And Joe Pickett kind of plays up on this a little bit. So if you liked Yellowstone, you will probably gravitate towards Joe Pickett. If you liked Yellowstone, but were not enthusiastic about the dramatic amount of violence and the fact that it seemed like it was a very lawless kind of place, you will probably then like Joe Pickett better. Joe Pickett's a little bit more grounded Yellowstone. He is not wealthy. It's a little bit more of a realistic take on a fish and game warden, his family, his obligations, and all the other things that he's doing. Michael Dorman, I kind of like the way that he plays the character. The character is very no nonsense. Like, this is right, this is wrong. Like he's very fair, he's very decent, but he doesn't really like take crap from anyone. He can't be bribed, he can't be manipulated, he can't be like, he's a very straight shooter. I liked it, or I didn't dislike it. I would have to say it's probably a skip for me. I'd like to say it's a mooch, but I'm never going to come back to it. If you really enjoyed Yellowstone, or you wanted to enjoy Yellowstone, but the violence was a little bit too much for you, then Joe Pickett is probably right up your alley. And again, it is on Paramount Plus, which kind of, puts it within that 1883 Yellowstone type genre. They're clearly going for something here. And that's Joe Pickett. That's pretty much all I've got to say about it.
Okay, that's a shame. I was hoping it had better uptake, but I can understand that because once you've seen Yellowstone, whether you like it or not, it's kind of hard to see other shows that are in the same vein the same way.
Yeah.
I think, remember, I had that other show that was also
You're Justified. You're Justified, right?
Not just Justified. Remember, I had that Susan Sarandon show with the country music family in Tennessee?
Yeah, Nashville.
Monarch.
Oh, yeah, Monarch.
It's tough only because you can't help but always end up comparing to another show.
I mean, Joe Pickett is definitely playing up on the Yellowstone popularity. Had Yellowstone not had such huge popularity, even though Joe Pickett apparently was a very successful book, it's not as likely that this would have been picked up by someone like Paramount or that someone like Michael Dorman would have been chosen, to play this character.
Okay.
So with that behind us, let's talk about what we have to watch in the week ahead, both stream and skip and otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. So for next week, you're coming on to Hulu to watch a show called The Class of '09.
Okay.
I am going to be on the dreaded Amazon Prime to watch a show called The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart. I hope it's good. So we'll find out next week.
Coming up, though, there are some other things that we do need to keep our eye on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been focused on trying to, maybe because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike, we've been trying to really dive deep and unearth some diamonds in the rough, which occasionally we've been successful on. But some of the things that we haven't focused on that we really need to are Wheel of Time Season 2, which we have not focused on. Foundation Season 2, which we have not focused on. There's a new show called Gen V.
Yeah.
A spinoff of The Boys, which we both loved.
The Continental, right?
The Continental, the John Wick universe. And Ahsoka is finishing up this week as well.
Yeah. So a couple of spoiler alerts. We're both up to date, rather, on Ahsoka.
Yes.
I started Foundation. I saw the first 2 episodes on one day, and then I binged the rest on the second. I couldn't stop watching Foundation, so I am caught up.
So I think that recommendation speaks for itself then, right?
But I mean, yes, say what you will, but yes, I did finish it. Did I talk about The Gold?
So The Gold was my streamer skip last week, and I told you it's fantastic.
True story, based on a heist. I love true stories. I love heisting.
Love the good heist.
I watched all 6 episodes in one day. I absolutely loved it. I had some time to kill this week, and I caught up on a lot of things. I absolutely loved it. It is 100% a must subscribe for me. I've already updated it. It's good. It's really good.
I've got to watch more of The Gold then. Okay. What about The Continental? Have you started The Continental?
So yes, The Continental. I saw the first episode. I know that it's on our stream or skip list, as is Gen V. What I think we'll do for The Continental is hold off a couple more weeks because only 2 episodes are out.
Okay.
I have seen the first episode. It's intriguing. And it reminds me a little bit of, do you remember when I had to watch Pennyworth on Streamer Skip?
Yes, you like Pennyworth.
Yes, it reminds me a little bit of Pennyworth in the sense that it's set in an established universe. We're now looking at Winston's character as he was a young man. I'm hesitant to give any kind of rating on it now because, the first episode was just the first episode. It kind of sets up what's going on.
And then Ahsoka.
I mean, spoiler alert, I started off at a mooch. I am right now at a heavy must subscribe.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little bit behind you, but can we talk about it a little bit?
Sure.
What for you makes this a must subscribe? Thrawn?
Not just Thrawn. Actually, it was more than Thrawn. I think Ray Stevenson's character is the one who's kind of made me say that this show is awesome. I'm really loving it. I still don't like what's-her-face at all, Sabine. I still think she's been petulant.
I hate Sabine.
I thought that episode where we get introduced to the Night Sisters.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. I was so impressed with that. The live action introduction of Thrawn I thought was wonderful. I'm loving it. I don't want to delve into why just yet. I want to finish this off this coming week, and then we can do a breakdown as to why I thought the show really worked.
So can I just make a few comments if you don't mind? I agree with you that Ray Stevenson's character, I think he's great. I think he really plays that with the right amount of gravitas. And I think that his apprentice, Shin is the one that I like as well, right? I don't like Sabine at all. And I think it's not actually all the characters. I mean, of course, it's not the actress's fault. That's never personal. But I don't think it's actually entirely that I don't like Sabine as a character. But I find that they're just not consistent with what they're saying with her. Is she a Mandalorian or is she a Jedi? Because in every fight scene, she seems to be kind of both. Is she talented or not talented? When we first introduced to her, the first episode, she's like riding this motorbike and she's so dangerous and people are attacking her and she fights them off. Then Hu Yang is training her and says, look, you're probably the least talented Jedi ever. Like, you're never going to make it. But yet in every fight, there she is, kind of winning. And it really bothers me that, is she good? Is she talented or not talented?
I know why it's bothering you.
Yes.
It's bothering you because she's winning, but they're sloppy wins.
Yes.
So she's not winning like a Jedi or a Force user would, which is very emphatically with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And she's not winning like Mando would, which is, I'm not going to bother wasting my time fighting with you guys. I'm just going to kick your ass in 10 minutes, call it a day.
Yes.
Every fight for her seems like it's an effort to win. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it goes counterintuitive to the fact that A, she's a Mandalorian, and Mandalorians are known to be some of the best fighters in the universe. So that's problem number one. And B, she's not fighting as a Jedi, which is to say, again, Force users, they don't fight for so long because they're so single-handedly good.
I'm really having a problem with her. I guess I'm just not clear on, like, what is her motive? I don't really get it. Like, she's trying to find Ezra. And I'm just unclear, like, why she's willing to sacrifice so much in her life. Does she have, like, a romantic affection for him? It doesn't seem like it. She once says, like, oh, he's the closest thing I have to family. I compare her to, like, Rosario Dawson, who's so clear in single-minded that even her robot is like, why are you only living on a ship? There's more to life. And Ahsoka's like, look, I've got my mission. I've got the things that are important to me. I'm only driven by those things. And I think as like a Star Wars fan, that's what's so impressive about Jedis, is that they say, I focus on what I have to do. All the other distractions, I put them aside, right? We saw that with Ben Kenobi, right? How long was Ben Kenobi living, working in kind of like that fish place, right? He was living in a cave, just going to work every day, cutting up the fish or the meat, taking a small amount for himself, going back home, living a very, very somber life, because he knew his mission was to make sure that Luke Skywalker was raised and was protected and was safe, right?
Yeah.
Ahsoka is the same. Sabine is not. Sabine's all over the place, right? Like kind of acting like a child, like, I want to be a Jedi. No, I'm not going to train for a Jedi. Now I want to find this dude. Well, I'm not sure why I want to find this dude. Now I'm going to fight. Well, I really don't like her character at all. I like her look. I like her purple hair. I like everything else about her. I just don't like the way her character is behaving.
She's willing to sacrifice the galaxy for her personal quest.
Yeah.
Which is something that I would almost rather be interested in seeing her get turned to the dark side. If you're going to go down this Force use thing, I would have much rather preferred Ray Stevenson than start training her in the way of the Sith, or, maybe not the Sith, but the Force while he was on that hypership, instead of just in the prison. Like if he sits her down and he's like, you're clearly driven to your own individual needs. Let me help you.
I agree with you. And actually that would have been interesting if Bailal would have taken on Sabine. Then he gets rid of Shin, and then Shin goes over to Rosario Dawson, right? Because Shin always seems to be a little bit deeper than she lets on, asking about, like, is this what we're after? Is this the power? Are these the people you trust? Are you sure we should be here? she seems to be like a little bit more curious, and there seems to be something underneath her, and have her go back to Ahsoka and have, Sabine be on the dark side. That seems to be a better role reversal for both of them, actually.
Again, until you finish episode 7, and I guess now 8 this coming week, I'm going to hold off on any additional comments on that.
All right. So anyway, let's finish up Ahsoka. But what do you think is going to be, is Ahsoka one and done, or you think there's going to be a second?
I think it's going to be one and done. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be a one and done.
What's happening in the Star Wars universe?
Supposedly a show called The Acolyte, that's supposed to come out. The Skeleton Crew, that's supposed to come out, but I don't know when.
All right. Well, let's finish up Ahsoka. Then let's have an episode where we work through that. And let's see if we can get some information on what the plan is for the Star Wars universe going forward. Because I feel, not just with Ahsoka, but generally, we're really at a little bit of a tipping point here for Lucas Studios. They need to decide what's happening both for the film franchise and for these one-offs. Because for the one-offs, Andor, I understand there needs to be a season 2. But for Mandalorian, for Boba, we're starting to get into a territory where either we're going to get too far away from the stories and things that are meaningful, or we're going to start to kind of like jam each other up and fill in all the blanks, and there's not going to be any further room for like subsequent series or episodes.
Yeah.
Right now we're filling in a lot of gaps, and it's fascinating in some ways, right? I mean, we have the reference to Leia Organa. We see cameo by C-3PO. This is very, very important. We see Mon Mothma again. But we're also getting to the point where you're kind of now boxed in by the films, and there doesn't seem to be any movement except for some type of rumor that Daisy Ridley is coming back, for something that's going to be set like 15 years subsequent. We're just kind of running out of runway, maybe.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then I would like them to go off and branch off into another part of the universe that's wholly disconnected from the Skywalkers.
So anyway, that is Stream or Skip. Pete, remind us what we've got to see next week for our assignments.
You have got Class of 09 on Hulu, and I've got Lost Flowers of Alice Hart on Amazon Prime.
All right, let's see how those go.
In the meantime, reach out to us, give us recommendations. We need to really spruce up our list a little bit more.
Yeah,
I know Ethan has done that a little bit for me. I have not had the chance to do that for him yet. So if there's a show you'd like Ethan to watch or me to watch, tweet at us at F&S Podcast, DM us on Instagram at Films and Stuff Podcast, email us aloha@filmsandstuffpodcast.com, or like this video, leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know whenever a new episode of Stream or Skip drops.
Pete, I could not have said it better myself. Thank you. And listeners, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week's episode of the Films and Stuff Podcast with Ethan and Pete. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.